sent these girls for home service to work at home, do you expect those families to pay her, or is it only accept that what you pay to the girl?
This is the only service, Mr. Balram, where we charge something. But let me explain why we charge. Because all our completely everything that we do for our patients, I told you, is totally free of charge. Then why do we charge for this particular service? There is a very good reason for that. We operate only on donations. When we approach somebody for donations, we say that we are going to look after advanced stage cancer patients. Please give us a donation for that purpose. All donations that come to us is on the presumption from the donor that we are going to look after poor cancer patients in our facility. It is not fair on our part to use that money to pay the salaries for these girls who are not working in our premises but are working outside. So what we decided to do is that only her salary, or that portion of it, plus our petty expenses that we incur on the girl, only that we recover from the family. In fact, among the various services that are run in Bangalore, you will find that Karunashaya service is the cheapest because we only cover our costs. We don't make any profit on that, and we take that amount from.
What is the average amount for a family?
Right now, we charge about 6,000 from a family per month. Yes, and that is paid goes back to the girl, and for the money that we incur on administering that service. Beyond that, we don't make any profit on it.
Mr. Rao, you said about the figure, but still I want you to elaborate on it. On an average, how many patients do you get, say, per month or per year? You said something like 45.
Yeah, on a day-to-day basis, you will find that we have about 45 inpatients and about 45 to 50 home care patients. So it's about 90 to 100 patients on any given working day of our. But if you see the total, so far in these 15 years, we have cared for over 11,000 patients. Now, I told you earlier that it's not only the patient, but our unit of care is the entire family, because we have to do a lot of counseling for the family also. So if you go by numbers, if you take the average size of a Indian family as size of 4, so it's 11,000 into 4, so almost 45 to 50,000 patients we have looked after until now.
So both in-house and
home care.
Any interesting, shocking or touching incidents that you recollect?
Yeah, there are some 2 or 3 instances that always get stuck in my mind, and which I relate to people when they ask me what work I do. One was a little 4-year-old child who was our patient, and in that time, I told you we were located fairly close to the airport.
Yes.
And the child's mother or father used to try and distract the child each time an aircraft came overhead, and he would point out the aircraft and say, "Nodu, aeroplane bant nodu anta." And the child would be fascinated by this, because where he used to live, he barely ever saw an aeroplane, and he got quite fascinated by this. And I must say that became a source of distraction for him from his pain and from his suffering. So he was greatly fascinated by this aeroplane. The time came when he used to run out of the ward and go and stand on the edge of the veranda and point out to the aeroplane. But one fine day, it seems, he took a great fancy to wanting to see an aeroplane from the inside. And one evening when I was going home, and I was just getting ready to go home, our chief nurse came to me and said, "I don't know what to do about Madhu." Madhu was the name of the child. "I don't know what to do. We've done everything, but he has set his mind on seeing the insides of an aeroplane." And I said, "Now, how do we go about showing him the insides of the airplane with so much of security and things at the airport? It is impossible to do that." But I told her, I said, "Okay, let me think, and we'll see tomorrow what we can do." I went home that evening, and while I was having a cup of tea, it just occurred to me that I should ring up HAL and find out whether there is some way they could help us. Now, I did not know anybody in HAL. I just took the telephone directory, looked up the residential telephone number of the managing director of HAL, and I was bold enough to ring him up at home at about 7 o'clock in the evening, and I said, "Sir, my name is Kishore Rao. This is the work we do, and this is the situation of the child." And he was greatly moved by it. And what he said to me is, "All right, I will arrange this. 9:30 tomorrow morning, you please send the child with one attendant, not too many people, but one attendant. Please send the child, and I will see what I can do." I believe the ambulance which went to the airport that day was greeted at the gates of HAL by their PRO, and the PRO took the child and his mother inside, passed the security level, took the child inside and showed him the inside of an aircraft. The child came back to the, from then onwards, Mr. Balram, for the next 8 days or 9 days that the child's life lasted, he could talk about nothing else but inside the aircraft. And that was a great distraction to him. His mind was taken off his disease, the mind was taken off the pain, and he died, I would think, a peaceful child. More than the child himself, the parents were facing the death of a 4-year-old child. But when they saw that he was completely distracted, that he was thinking of the aircraft, he was not thinking of his disease, I think the parents also really benefited a lot from this service. Now, this is something that not only the people in Karunashaya, but other institutions also, like HAL in this instance, like the MD of HAL, like the PRO of HAL who took us inside and showed us, I think all of us sort of collaborated with each other to see that child was looked after. Another instance that comes to my mind, Mr. Balram, and that brings to my mind, is that in all these 11,000 odd patients and the families that we've seen, a large part of it is social problems. You and I don't think of these social problems because we do, on a one-to-one basis, we don't come across these. Many families in the city of Bangalore, and I suppose all over India, have a lot of social needs and social problems which come out only at the time of great trial, like at a stage like this. There was one 75-year-old man who was brought to us by another man who was even older than him. And these two old men came in, and the older person, the 80-year-old person, said, "This is my brother, and he's got cancer and he's in his last stages. Can you look after him?" And we saw all his papers, the doctors examined him, etc., and took him as a patient. He was taken as a patient, and as part of the counseling, we were trying to find out whether he had a larger extended family other than this older brother. And throughout, he kept on saying that I have no family, just two of us, my older brother and myself. And he was an angry man. You could make out that there was something troubling him. One of the statements he used to make, "If something happens to me, don't tell that old man about me. He won't even come to cremate me." That was the sort of anger he was showing in his life. This progressed, and for about 3 weeks he was with us. And as we could sense that the end was about to come, our counselor persisted, and she tried her level best to find out somebody, even a friend, a close friend or family friend or anybody whom we could call, who could come and be together with the patient towards the end of his life. She did not succeed. But she had noticed one thing, that in his pocket he used to keep a small diary. So when he was unconscious, she took out the diary, and we found a few telephone numbers in it, and we started telephoning those numbers. And one of the numbers we telephoned said, "Oh, Aura, Gottu. His family lives very close to my family, they live in Mysore." So he said, "How have you found?" They said, "He has come here, we are looking after him, etc." "Allah, our family iddare, Mysore nalliddare." He gave us a telephone number. The same evening we rang up the family. Apparently this man had left the family, who had gone away from home in some fit of anger.